I'm Toby Hunter and this is my 14.4 review. So first bit is peer review. So after my session I handed out a feedback sheet, and this is the generalized feedback of what my peers gave me. So my main strengths were involvement of the group, control of the group and the use of space. And my main weaknesses were variety, motivation and praise. Self-review. I would say my strengths were organisation. I had everything set up before the session started, and if I felt something needed changed, I made sure my participants were doing something else whilst I was setting it up. Progression. I made the session progressively harder as the participants went through each drill. And control of group. No one did anything I didn't ask. Everyone followed my instructions clearly. And my main three weaknesses were first one would be praise. I didn't give my participants enough praise for them doing something right or correct or trying hard. Motivation. I sat down in one of the exercises which could demotivate my participants, make them think that I'm not interested in what they're doing. And demonstration. I didn't demonstrate all of the activities straight away. I waited for them to ask for a demonstration before I did so. Adaptions. So if I did this again, these are adaptions that I made in the session. So one reason was because of the heat. It was a very hot day, and doing sprint training in hot sun is quite hard on people, so I tried to make my session in the shade as much as possible to give them that little bit of relief from the heat. Another adaptation, I introduced competition earlier than I expected to, because I saw that the participants were getting a bit bored. It was getting a bit tedious for them, which might have made them lose interest and then lose motivation. So I introduced competition to make them work for something earlier than I expected to. Suitable changes. So if I were to do the session again, these are the changes that I would make. The main change would be more variety in the activities. So I just did ladders and cones, which is quite simple but can get tedious very quickly. If I were to do it again, I'd maybe do some resistant training with bands, some sprint races, I should say. So actual sprint races rather than just doing ladder races or races with cones. And included in the sprint races, do some team sprints, like a relay maybe, a relay of a couple of participants. Get them more actively involved, maybe a bit more motivated to do stuff. And I would certainly do a longer time spent on each activity. My session was ended quite short because I hadn't anticipated how fast I'd get through each activity, so I'd definitely make it each activity longer and maybe add more progression onto each activity rather than just moving on to the next one. A suitable course that I could do, I researched the Sports Leaders Level 3. I found out that it will cost £52 and it will be a total of 126 hours, which includes 60 tutored hours and 30 hours of demonstration of leadership. This will help me be an effective leader, as it will develop my leadership skills, and it will allow me to be able to plan, lead and evaluate all sorts of sessions. So sessions, just normal sport or physical activity events, sessions for kids, so I'll be able to maybe run a youth football team, or not run, but be a coach at a youth football team, or go to a primary school and help out there, all those sort of things. And also plan, lead and evaluate sessions for disabled or elderly people, which is very big now in sport. Disabled access, is very good to have the skills for disabled and definitely the elderly, be able to keep them in sport. Finally would be my SMART targets. So a short-term target would definitely be to run another session within the next week. So if I wanted to improve my leadership skills, definitely I would have to run sessions to be able to evaluate myself, see what I'm doing wrong, where I can improve. A medium term would be to observe at least 2 sessions within the next month. That will help, as well as running a session by myself, to be able to observe and see what they're doing right, and compare that to mine, see what I'm doing wrong, and what I can take from these sessions I've observed and put into my own sessions, to make me a more effective leader, and also see what they're doing wrong so I don't do that in mine. And my long-term SMART target would be to take a course on sport, like the Sport Leaders Level 3, over the next year. So obviously the Sports Leader is quite a long course, and obviously I've been through what course would help me. It would help me with confidence and understanding of how to be an effective leader over a wide variety, so disabled, elderly, kids, sports teams, all of that.